What if everything you thought you knew about the divine, about creation itself, was merely a carefully constructed illusion? What if, hidden beneath layers of dogma and forgotten history, lies a truth so profound, so shattering, that it was deemed too dangerous for humanity to ever comprehend? For centuries, religious texts and mystical traditions have whispered of an angelic entity, a being whose very essence is woven from the fabric of divine mystery and forbidden knowledge. They speak of Raziel, the archangel whose name means secret of God, the celestial scribe entrusted with the deepest arcana of the universe. And Raziel, it is said, holds not just secrets, but the very key to unlocking them, a celestial grimoire, a book forged from the heavens, containing the darkest, most profound truths that even the divine sought to conceal. This is not just a story. It is an unveiling, a journey into the forbidden archives of existence, where the veil between worlds thins and the whispers of ancient angels can still be heard. What you are about to hear was guarded in silence for millennia, a truth so potent it could redefine your understanding of God, of magic, and of your own place in a cosmos far more complex and mysterious than you could ever imagine. Before you continue, I need you to understand something. Once these secrets are revealed, you can never go back. If the very thought of touching the forbidden, of gazing upon the celestial secrets, ignites a spark within your soul, then join this community of seekers. Subscribe to our channel and like this video if you feel the resonance, if you hear the calling. Only those who have felt that inner calling understand this journey. And if you are one of them, then comment celestial below, sealing your intention to delve deeper into these sacred mysteries. Raziel, often revered as the Archangel of Mysteries, stands unique in the angelic hierarchy, a figure shrouded in an aura of profound secrecy and divine paradox. His very presence, as depicted in mystical texts like the Kabbalah and Merkaba mysticism, is tied to the primordial act of creation itself, the moment when the boundless Ein Sof, the infinite God, first began to manifest existence. He is not merely a messenger, but a keeper of the most intimate dialogues between the divine consciousness and the nascent universe. Imagine the very first whispers of creation, the sacred geometry taking form, the divine blueprint being laid out. Raziel is said to have witnessed it all, inscribed it all. His domain is not of judgment or mercy, but of the unfathomable, the arcane, the intricate dance of cosmic forces that remain hidden from all but the most illuminated. He is often depicted surrounded by a radiant blue light, his form flickering with the intensity of pure thought, his eyes reflecting the vast, dark emptiness from which all things emerge. In the celestial courts, while other archangels execute divine will, Raziel chronicles it, understands its deepest mechanisms, and holds the keys to its most dangerous applications. This profound understanding positions him as the ultimate source of high magic, the kind that manipulates not just energy, but the very fabric of reality at its most fundamental level, drawing directly from the raw power of the divine void. But what could such an archangel possibly write down? The answer lies in the legendary Sefer Raziel Hamalach, the book of Raziel the Angel. This isn't just a grimoire. It is a celestial artifact, a cosmic Rosetta Stone, believed to contain all divine and earthly knowledge. Its origins are steeped in myth, said to have been penned by Raziel himself before the dawn of human history. Imagine a tome not bound by mortal leather or parchment, but by the very essence of the celestial spheres, its pages shimmering with starlight, its words vibrating with the hum of creation. It is a book that transcends mere language, communicating through symbols, numbers, and the pure, unadulterated intent of the divine. According to legend, this book was delivered to Adam, the first man, immediately after his expulsion from the Garden of Eden. This act itself is profoundly symbolic, suggesting that forbidden knowledge was not merely withheld, but given at a crucial juncture. A tool for survival and understanding in a fallen world. This stands in stark contrast to the narratives presented by many traditional religious texts, which often portray humanity's pursuit of knowledge as a sin. The Sefer Raziel, however, presents it as a divine gift, albeit one fraught with immense power and responsibility. It suggests an alternative narrative of God's interaction with humanity, one where secrets are not eternally damned, but potentially salvific, a path to reclaiming lost divine connection. But what exactly did this book reveal to Adam, and why was it deemed so necessary for his survival outside paradise? We are merely scratching the surface of this profound mystery. The contents of the Sefer Raziel HaMalach are not for the faint of heart, nor for the uninitiated. This isn't a book of simple spells or charms. It is a profound compendium of cosmic law, divine mechanics, and the purest forms of ceremonial magic. Within its mythical pages, one would find treatises on angelic magic, detailing the names, hierarchies, and true invocations of celestial beings, far beyond the common lists found in other grimoires. It contains the true secrets of creation, insights into how the universe was formed from the divine light, the precise movements of the celestial bodies, and their influence on earthly events, a masterclass in cosmic astrology. Gematria, the ancient system of numerology used to unlock hidden meanings within sacred texts, is said to be explained in its most profound and unfiltered form, revealing the numerical code embedded in the fabric of existence. Furthermore, it details the profound power of divine names, not just as labels, but as vibrational keys that can unlock specific aspects of God's power. Imagine knowing the true, unutterable names of the divine, the sounds that resonated when the cosmos was first spun into being. This knowledge, by its very nature, is dangerous. It grants the practitioner access to forces that can reshape reality, summon entities of immense power, and uncover truths that could drive a lesser mind to madness. This is the heart of what the system doesn't want you to know, that divinity is not just an external force to be worshipped, but a set of principles that can be understood, harnessed, and even manipulated by those who dare to delve into its arcana. The book itself, in its various historical iterations, presents itself as a guide to mastering the invisible forces of the universe, a manual for those who seek to become co-creators with the divine. This takes us to the very first instance of forbiddance, knowledge being imparted to humanity, the fall of Adam. According to the legends surrounding Raziel, after Adam and Eve were cast out of Eden for partaking of the tree of knowledge, a profound sense of despair and ignorance enveloped them. Stripped of their innocence and connection to the divine, they found themselves adrift in a harsh, unknown world. It was at this moment, according to some interpretations, that Raziel descended from the heavens. He did not come to condemn, but to bestow a gift of immense value, the Sefer Raziel. This act transforms the narrative of the fall from one of pure punishment into a more complex story of divine intervention and a second chance at enlightenment, albeit through a more arduous path. The Grimoire, given to Adam, was not meant to instantly return him to paradise, but to equip him with the wisdom needed to navigate the challenges of existence outside it. It taught him the laws of the universe, the secrets of magic, and how to command the unseen forces of nature. This knowledge was essential for Adam to not only survive, but to regain a semblance of his former connection to the divine, to understand the mysteries of a world that had suddenly become hostile and unfamiliar. It was a manual for existence in a post-Edenic world, a guide to reclaiming agency and understanding in the face of perceived abandonment. This narrative subtly shifts the blame for humanity's suffering not onto the act of seeking knowledge itself, but perhaps onto the misuse or misunderstanding of it. The book became a tool for spiritual rebellion, a way for humanity to assert its will and intellect against the limitations imposed upon it, making Adam not just a fallen figure, but the first initiate into the forbidden arts. Only those who have felt that inner calling understand this profound turning point. This sacred rebellion that the journey of the Sefer Raziel Hamalek did not end with Adam. Its path through history, according to esoteric traditions, mirrors humanity's own struggle to preserve and understand divine wisdom. After Adam, the Grimoire is said to have passed down through his lineage, from generation to generation, always guarded by a chosen few. One of its most famous custodians was Noah, the patriarch chosen by God to survive the Great Flood. Imagine the cataclysm, the world dissolving into chaos, all knowledge, all history seemingly erased by the divine wrath. Yet amidst this destruction, a single ark carried not just life, but also the most profound secrets of existence. The legend holds that it was Raziel's Grimoire that enabled Noah to understand the divine signs, to build the ark according to precise celestial specifications, and to navigate the raging waters. The book contained not only prophecies of the coming deluge, but also practical instructions on how to survive it, perhaps even how to appease the elemental forces unleashed upon the earth. This story elevates the Grimoire beyond a mere book of magic. It becomes a symbol of ultimate survival, a beacon of preserved wisdom in the face of cosmic annihilation. It reinforces the idea that true, forbidden knowledge is not just about power, but about preservation, about ensuring the continuity of spiritual understanding, even when the physical world is shattered. This hidden history of how ancient wisdom was saved from oblivion is a testament to the enduring power of these texts, and what the Church tried to erase from memory. What the system doesn't want you to know is that great calamities often hide the greatest opportunities for spiritual growth, opportunities forged in the fires of forbidden knowledge. From Noah, the celestial Grimoire continued its clandestine journey through the annals of antiquity. It is whispered that the book found its way into the hands of Enoch, the legendary patriarch said to have walked with God, who ascended to the heavens and returned with profound cosmic insights. Enoch's own apocryphal texts, such as the Book of Enoch, reveal a universe populated by powerful angels, complex celestial mechanics, and prophecies that deeply influenced later mystical traditions, including Kabbalah. It's not a stretch to imagine that the Sefer Raziel, with its deep angelic wisdom, formed the foundational text for Enoch's own revelations. From Enoch, the lineage of custodians is said to have included Abraham, the father of monotheism, who, according to some traditions, possessed a wisdom far beyond that which is commonly depicted in religious scriptures. But it is perhaps its supposed transmission to King Solomon that truly cements its place in the history of ceremonial magic. Solomon, renowned for his unparalleled wisdom and his ability to command not only men, but also spirits, is often attributed with mastering the art of binding and invoking entities. The Godia, a collection of texts detailing the invocation of 72 demons, is directly linked to Solomon's legendary magical prowess. Could it be that the Sefer Raziel Hamalek was the source of his profound power, the very grimoire that granted him dominion over both celestial and infernal realms? The text, with its detailed angelic hierarchies and divine names, would have provided the perfect framework for Solomon's vast magical operations. This connection solidifies the grimoire as the progenitor of many classical ceremonial magic traditions, including the foundations of what would later be known as Solomonic magic. What the mages swore to keep silent for centuries was the true origin of their power, a direct lineage from an angelic source. This is the truth that books conceal, the story woven between the lines of history, waiting for those who dare to read beyond the surface dot. So, why is this knowledge considered forbidden? What are God's darkest secrets that the Sefer Raziel Hamalek reputedly reveals? This goes to the very core of Gnosticism and mystical traditions, which often challenge the simplistic, dualistic view of good and evil presented by mainstream religions. The darkest secrets are not necessarily evil in the conventional sense, but rather the truths about the nature of God, the void, and creation that are too complex, too ambiguous, or too empowering for humanity to safely comprehend without profound spiritual preparation. It might reveal that the divine itself is not a benevolent, paternalistic entity, but a vast, incomprehensible force that encompasses both light and shadow, creation and destruction, order and chaos. Perhaps it unveils the true mechanisms of manifestation, showing how consciousness and will can directly influence reality, giving humans a power that rivals the divine itself. This is the ultimate forbidden truth, that humanity is not merely a creation, but a co-creator, capable of wielding cosmic forces. The Grimoire might expose the hidden dimensions of the universe, the ongoing celestial war between primal forces, and the true identity of entities often demonized by religious dogma. It might reveal that Lucifer, often portrayed as the ultimate evil, is in fact a bringer of light, of knowledge, a rebel against a static, unquestioning order, mirroring Raziel's own act of imparting forbiddance, wisdom to Adam. This truth shatters the comforting illusions of simple piety and demands a radical re-evaluation of everything we believe to be sacred. If you are here, it is not by chance. You are drawn to the edge of the veil, compelled to peer into the abyss of divine paradox. This is what the system doesn't want you to know, that the path to true spiritual freedom lies in questioning, in seeking, and in daring to look beyond the simplistic narratives that bind us. You who listen to this are no longer the same as when you started watching this video. You have taken the first step on a journey that will forever change your perception of reality. If you have journeyed with us this far, you have already crossed a threshold. You've dared to contemplate the true depths of divine mystery, to question the accepted narratives, and to peer into the hidden history that shapes our understanding of magic, spirituality, and the very nature of God. You are no longer the same. A seed of forbidden knowledge has been planted within you, and it will surely grow. The path of Raziel and his celestial grimoire is not just one of historical curiosity, but a profound spiritual awakening. An invitation to see the world not as it is presented, but as it truly is, shimmering with arcane secrets and divine paradoxes. If you feel this resonance deep within your being, if the whispers of these ancient truths stir something primal within your soul, then this journey is for you. Like this video to seal your commitment unraveling these cosmic enigmas, and subscribe to our channel to ensure you never miss another revelation from the forgotten archives of existence. And remember, the veil between worlds is thin for those who seek with true intent. So comment celestial below, affirming your readiness to embrace the forbiddens, to see beyond the ordinary, and to understand the true nature of God's darkest secrets. In our next installment, we will delve deeper into the specific contents of the Sefer Raziel Hamalek, exploring its practical applications in ceremonial magic, its influence on figures like John Dee and Eliphaz Levi, and the profound implications of wielding knowledge that can reshape creation itself. The story of Raziel is far from over, and the secrets yet to be revealed are far more potent than you can possibly imagine. The celestial tapestry is woven with threads of light and shadow, of known wonders and abyssal unknowns. Among the most profound and unsettling of these cosmic enigmas stands Raziel, the angel of forbidden knowledge, whose very name whispers of the divine's most closely guarded truths. He is the guardian of a celestial grimoire, a tome not merely written, but breathed into existence by the very essence of creation. A book reputed to hold the keys to God's darkest secrets, truths so monumental and terrifying they could shatter the foundations of reality as humanity understands it. To speak of Raziel and his tome is to venture into the deepest chasms of esoteric lore, to confront the boundaries of perception, and to acknowledge that some knowledge, however alluring, may be a burden too great for mortal comprehension. Raziel, whose name translates to secret of God, is not merely an archangel among others. He is the embodiment of divine mystery itself. His proximity to the Almighty is unparalleled, described in ancient texts as constantly standing by the throne, absorbing the unfiltered whispers of creation, the primal thoughts that precede form. He is the divine scribe, not of decrees or prophecies, but of the very mechanisms of the cosmos, the intricate dance of angelic hierarchies, the laws governing the stars, the ebb and flow of cosmic energy, and the deepest intentions of the Creator. Unlike other angels who carry messages or execute judgments, Raziel's primary function is to comprehend, record, and occasionally to transmit the most profound and dangerous insights directly from the divine mind. His aura is said to shimmer with all the colors of the rainbow, reflecting the multifaceted nature of the secrets he guards, a kaleidoscope of understanding that could blind a lesser being with its sheer intensity. He is the librarian of the heavens. Yet his library is not of parchment and ink, but of pure, luminous thought, the crown jewel of Raziel's domain. And the central focus of this profound mystery is the Sefer Raziel Hamalek, the book of Raziel the angel. This is no ordinary grimoire. Legends claim it was inscribed by Raziel himself, not with a pen, but with the divine light that emanated from God's own being. It is said to contain all the knowledge necessary to understand the universe from its inception to its ultimate dissolution. The book is not merely a compendium of facts. It is a living, breathing entity, a direct conduit to the divine consciousness, capable of revealing truths that transcend human language and logic. Its pages are not paper, but constellations. Its words, not ink, but the very vibratory patterns of creation. To gaze upon it, even in mythical form, is to glimpse the unfathomable complexity of God's design. The myth of its transmission to humanity is as compelling as the book itself. After the expulsion from Eden, when Adam and Eve were cast into a world of hardship and suffering, bewildered by their fall from grace and stripped of their innate connection to divine wisdom, Raziel, in an act of profound compassion, or perhaps as part of a predetermined divine plan, is said to have gifted the book to Adam. This was not a gift of forgiveness, but of understanding. It was meant to provide Adam with the tools to comprehend the mysteries of creation, the cycles of nature, the healing properties of herbs, the movements of the stars, and the incantations needed to protect himself and his descendants from the dangers of a world now hostile. It was a guide to navigating the harsh reality of their post-Edenic existence, a lifeline thrown from the heavens. Yet the knowledge it contained was so vast, so overwhelming, that Adam, in his newly mortal state, struggled to fully grasp its implications. The book itself, radiating immense power, was said to have been taken by the angels after Adam's lament, deemed too potent for human hands. But the seeds of its wisdom had been sown. From Adam, the book, or its essence, was reputedly passed down through a lineage of chosen patriarchs. Enoch, who walked with God and was granted visions of cosmic architecture. Noah, who supposedly used its wisdom to construct the ark, understanding the precise measurements and materials necessary to survive the great flood, discerning the celestial timings of the deluge. And later, to King Solomon, whose legendary wisdom, mastery over spirits, and ability to command demons for the meal, construction of his temple, are often attributed to his partial possession or understanding of Raziel's tome. Each recipient, a beacon of mystical understanding in their time, seemed to possess a fragment, an interpretation, or a limited access to the boundless wisdom within the celestial grimoire. This historical lineage, however mythical, establishes the book as a constant, albeit elusive, source of profound power and enlightenment throughout human history. The real textual Sefer Raziel Hamalek a medieval Jewish text of practical Kabbalah and magical lore, is widely believed to be a much later human echo or interpretation of this divine prototype, a pale reflection of the celestial original, yet still considered potent by those who delve into its arcane pages. It is a testament to the enduring human desire to touch the divine, to grasp even a sliver of that forbidden knowledge. So, what exactly constitutes the darkest secrets revealed by Raziel's celestial grimoire? This is where the mystery deepens, where the whispers become profound and unsettling. It's not merely about knowing the future or commanding spirits. Those are but parlor tricks compared to the foundational truths the book purportedly holds. The darkest secrets refer to those aspects of the divine and the cosmos that challenge human perception of reality, morality, and even the nature of God itself. One of the most terrifying revelations could be the truth about the void before creation. Most theological narratives depict a void as an absence, a nothingness from which God brings forth existence. But what if the grimoire reveals the void was not merely empty, but a primordial consciousness, a chaotic, vast, and indifferent intelligence, a predecessor or parallel to the Creator? What if God did not simply create from nothing, but wrestled creation out of something else, something ancient, immense, and profoundly alien? This would redefine the very act of creation, suggesting a cosmic struggle or a negotiation with primal forces beyond human comprehension, making the universe not a singular act of divine will, but a delicate balance struck between opposing forces. This knowledge could imbue the universe with a terrifying fragility, knowing that the primordial chaos might still exist, waiting to reclaim its domain. Then there is the true nature of evil. Is evil merely the absence of good, a shadow cast by light? Or is it an active, primal force, perhaps even a necessary component of the divine plan? The grimoire might reveal that evil is not merely permitted by God, but is interwoven into the fabric of existence for a purpose so vast and complex that human morality cannot grasp it. What if the suffering, the cruelty, the darkness that permeates the world is not a flaw in creation, but a catalyst for divine evolution, a necessary forge for souls? This would challenge every conventional understanding of divine benevolence, presenting a God whose design incorporates elements we perceive as abhorrent, a God whose justice operates on a scale far beyond human ethical frameworks. Such a revelation could lead to profound spiritual despair or a horrifyingly rational acceptance of suffering, potentially dissolving the very concept of free will and moral responsibility. Another chilling secret could concern the mechanics of free will versus predestination, the perennial theological paradox. If God is omniscient, knowing all past, present, and future, then how can humanity possess genuine free will? Does God merely observe, or does divine knowledge inherently dictate destiny? A grimoire might expose a terrifying truth, that human free will is an illusion, a sophisticated divine puppet show, or conversely, that God's omnipotence is not absolute in the way we perceive it, revealing limits to divine power or spheres where creation is truly autonomous. Either answer is profoundly unsettling. If free will is an illusion, then all human effort, all striving, all love and hate are merely predetermined sequences in a cosmic script. If God's omnipotence has limits, it shatters the traditional image of an all-powerful, all-controlling deity, opening doors to a universe far more unpredictable and perhaps less managed than we dare to imagine. Furthermore, Raziel's book could lay bare the truth of other divine creations or multiverses. What if our universe is but one of countless others, each with its own laws, its own forms of life, its own gods, or aspects of the ultimate divine source? This would dwarf humanity's significance to an unimaginable degree, making our cosmos a mere speck in an infinite cosmic ocean. It could reveal other supreme beings, other creations that exist outside our understanding, perhaps even in opposition to our own divine narrative. This knowledge would force humanity to confront its provincialism, challenging anthropocentric theology and revealing a universe far more diverse and perhaps terrifyingly indifferent to our existence. The ultimate purpose of suffering could be detailed with an unbearable clarity. Is suffering merely a consequence of sin or a tool for growth? Or does the Grimoire reveal a deeper, darker, more cosmic reason? Perhaps that suffering is the fuel for certain universal processes, or that certain entities, divine or otherwise, feed upon it. This would not only challenge our understanding of divine compassion, but could imply a universe built on principles of pain and sacrifice that are profoundly amoral from a human perspective. And then, there is the true nature of the divine itself. Is God a singular, benevolent being? Or is the ultimate reality a complex, multifaceted entity, perhaps even an impersonal force? A network of consciousnesses, or an ever-evolving superintelligence that defies any human attempt at personification? What if the Grimoire reveals that the divine spark within humanity is merely a fragment of a vast, indifferent cosmic consciousness, and that our individual identity is an ephemeral construct? This would dismantle millennia of theological discourse and personal faith, presenting a divine truth so alien it could induce existential horror. It might reveal that the God we worship is merely one aspect, one manifestation of a far more ancient and terrifyingly complex entity, an entity that predates even the concept of good and evil, existing beyond all human categories. It could show the face of God as something utterly unimaginable, a form that dissolves the mind of any who perceive it without proper preparation. The allure of such forbidden knowledge is intoxicating. Humans, inherently curious, driven by a thirst for meaning and control, have always sought to pull back the veil. The promise of understanding the fundamental operating principles of the universe, of transcending the limitations of mortal existence, of gaining power over the seen and unseen, is a powerful motivator. Mystics, alchemists, Kabbalists, and occultists throughout history have dedicated their lives and often sacrificed their sanity in pursuit of these elusive truths. The very act of seeking this knowledge is an act of supreme hubris, a challenge to the divine decree that some things are meant to remain hidden. Yet the human spirit, ever striving, ever questioning, cannot resist the temptation, but the peril is commensurate with the allure. The Grimoire is said to possess a protective magic so potent that it harms those unworthy of its secrets. Merely touching it could induce madness, unleash cosmic forces beyond control, or summon entities that feast on unprepared minds. The stories of those who dared to delve into its depths often speak of a profound transformation, not always for the better. The human mind, with its limited capacity, is simply not built to process such raw, unfiltered divine information. It's like trying to hold the sun in your bare hands. The light, though source of all life, would utterly consume you. The sheer weight of understanding God's darkest secrets could shatter one's sanity, dissolving the ego and identity into a sea of overwhelming, terrifying cosmic truth. Imagine discovering that the universe is not designed for human comfort or understanding, that our existence is merely an accidental byproduct of vastly greater processes, or that the very laws of morality we hold dear are relevant in the grand cosmic scheme. This could lead to a profound spiritual crisis, a loss of faith, purpose, and ultimately, self. Those who gain such knowledge might find themselves alienated from humanity, burdened by truths too heavy to share, or driven to wield their newfound power in ways that defy ethical constraints. The very act of possessing such knowledge could transform a seeker into something else entirely, a prophet, a demigod, or a monster, stripped of their former humanity by the sheer force of cosmic truth. The legend of the golem, a creature brought to life through mystical incantations, is often linked to the supposed powers of the Sefer Raziel Hamalak, hinting at the dangerous capacity of its teachings to create life, or perhaps to distort it. The line between creation and destruction, between divine magic and blasphemous sorcery, becomes perilously thin when dealing with such power. The mystery of Raziel and his grimoire continues to captivate because it touches upon humanity's deepest existential questions. Who are we? Why are we here? What is the ultimate nature of reality? And what, if anything, lies beyond the veil of our understanding? The full celestial grimoire, it is believed, does not reside on Earth in any recognizable form. It is said to exist in higher dimensions, protected by Raziel himself, only accessible through immense spiritual purity, divine intervention, or perhaps in the deepest reaches of meditative transcendence. The real Sefer Raziel Hamalak, the one that can be found in various historical editions, is seen as a fragmented and terrestrial echo, a human interpretation of an angelic text, a series of codes and keys that might unlock a fraction of the original's power, but never the full, terrifying truth. It is a guide for the curious, a handbook for those brave enough to dabble in the fringes of the esoteric, but it is not the original, pulsating heart of divine knowledge. The quest for Raziel's secrets is, therefore, an eternal one, a symbol of humanity's ceaseless yearning for ultimate understanding. It speaks to the part of us that rebels against ignorance, that longs to peek behind the curtain of existence, even if what we find there might shatter our preconceived notions of comfort and safety. It reminds us that there are indeed realms of knowledge that are not only vast, but profoundly dangerous. Truths that are perhaps better left unspoken, mysteries that protect us from the very essence of creation itself. The story of Raziel and his celestial grimoire serves as a potent reminder that the universe and its creator are far more complex, far more awe-inspiring, and perhaps far more terrifying than any human mind can fully grasp. The allure of forbidden knowledge will forever whisper across the cosmic winds, a promise of enlightenment and a warning of oblivion, beckoning those brave or foolish enough to listen. The profound depths of its revelations remain a subject of endless contemplation, a testament to the fact that the most significant truths are often those that hide in plain sight, veiled by their very immensity. The universe is a book, and Raziel holds the celestial key. Yet the question remains, are we truly ready to read its final, darkest chapters? That, perhaps, is the greatest mystery of all. The universe is a book, and Raziel holds the celestial key, yet the question remains, are we truly ready to read its final, darkest chapters? That, perhaps, is the greatest mystery of all, but what if we were ready? What if the echoes of that ancient question, whispered through the ages, have finally reached those of us prepared to confront not just the unknown, but the unthinkable? For centuries, the very mention of Raziel's name has conjured images of the Sefer Raziel Hamalak, a text believed to contain angelic magic and Kabbalistic wisdom. Yet, what we perceive as the known grimoire is but a pale reflection, a fragment of a fragment, a shadow cast by the true, primordial celestial grimoire, the book that Raziel himself brought forth from the heart of cosmic creation. This is not merely a compendium of spells or angelic correspondences. It is a direct transcript of the divine architect's blueprint, a cosmic codex that details not only the mechanics of existence, but the very intentions behind them. Before you continue, I need you to understand something. The darkest secrets are not always malicious. Sometimes they are simply truths too vast, too complex, too shattering for the human psyche to bear without fundamental transformation. And it is within these depths that the true power of Raziel's forbiddens knowledge resides, the power to unravel the threads of reality, not just to understand them, but to potentially reave them. The grimoire, in its entirety, is said to reveal the unholy names of God, not as blasphemy, But as the primordial sounds of chaos and order intertwined, the echoes of the Ein Sof before its emanation, when darkness and light were not yet separated, when the very concept of good and evil had yet to solidify, it speaks of the true nature of the celestial war, not as a simplistic battle between divine forces and rebellious angels, but as an intricate, preordained dance of cosmic polarity, where entities we perceive as fallen might in fact be fulfilling a necessary, albeit terrifying, role in the grand tapestry of creation. These are not just philosophical musings. These are revelations that rewrite the very foundations of theological understanding. Imagine discovering that the demiurge, the creator god of our material world, is not merely an imperfect deity or a malevolent force, but an aspect of the true divine, bound by its own cosmic limitations, a necessary veil placed between humanity and the blinding, terrifying infinity of the pleroma. This is the core of Gnostic understanding, a deep current that runs through the hidden history of spirituality, and one that Raziel's Grimoire illuminates with a blinding, relentless light. The Grimoire details the true purpose of suffering, not as punishment, but as an alchemical process, a catalyst for spiritual evolution, a forging fire that reshapes the soul through the crucible of material experience. It explains why some souls are drawn to the shadowed paths, why the forbidden allure of certain rituals resonates so deeply within us, because these paths, too, are part of the divine game, pathways to understanding the full spectrum of existence. Even those aspects the system of conventional dogma prefers to keep hidden, the truth books hide often pertains to the nature of God's own shadow, the primordial void from which all creation sprang. Raziel's Grimoire dares to unveil this, presenting a creator not solely of light and beneficence, but of profound darkness and unfathomable mystery, a being whose vastness encompasses both the radiant dawn and the chilling abyss. It speaks of forgotten eons, of cosmic intelligences that predate our known universe, of cycles of creation and dissolution that make our current existence but a fleeting breath in the eternal dance of the cosmos. These revelations are not for the faint of heart, for they challenge every comfort, every certainty, every doctrine we have ever clung to. They demand a radical reevaluation of reality, a willingness to dismantle the very framework of our spiritual comfort zones, to step into a void where familiar gods and devils might just be facets of a much grander, far more ambiguous, and undeniably terrifying truth. Think of those who have sought fragments of this truth throughout history. Consider John Dee, the enigmatic court astrologer and occultist of Queen Elizabeth I. His Enochian magic was a profound quest for direct angelic communication, an attempt to reconstruct the very language of creation, to speak with the archangels in their primordial tongues. He sought not just knowledge, but direct communion with the divine intelligence that shaped the cosmos. Could it be that in his scrying sessions, in his desperate attempts to chart the celestial spheres and unlock the mysteries of the angelic hierarchies, he was unwittingly, or perhaps knowingly, tapping into the same reservoir of primordial knowledge that Raziel oversees? Dee's work, recorded in his meticulous spiritual diaries, aimed to pierce the veil between worlds, to access truths that lay beyond human comprehension, driven by an unshakable belief that direct interaction with celestial beings held the key to ultimate understanding. His legacy remains a testament to the insatiable human desire to transcend earthly limitations and converse with the architects of reality, a desire that echoes the very core of Raziel's domain. Then there is Aleister Crowley, the great beast who famously proclaimed, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." His radical philosophy, his tearing down of old eons, his quest for true will and self-divinization, all resonate with the unsettling freedom offered by Raziel's forbidden knowledge. Crowley's encounter with Aiwass, the preterhuman intelligence that dictated the Book of the Law, was a direct challenge to established religious paradigms, a demand for individual spiritual sovereignty. He sought to strip away the comforting illusions of conventional faith and confront the raw, untamed power of the cosmos to become a living embodiment of his own divine potential. This relentless pursuit of ultimate, unfiltered truth, even if it meant blasphemy in the eyes of the many, places him firmly in the lineage of those who dared to gaze upon the contents of Raziel's true grimoire, albeit through fragmented human lenses. He, too, was searching for the unholy names of God, for the primordial forces that govern existence, for the ultimate secrets that empower the individual to become their own law. The hidden history of these figures, and countless others, reveals a continuous thread of seekers drawn to the boundary between the known and the utterly unfathomable. These are the ones who felt that inner calling, who dared to question, to seek beyond the dogmatic comfort of the mainstream. They understood that the universe is not a gentle cradle, but a cosmic forge, constantly creating, destroying, and recreating. And Raziel's grimoire is the ultimate manual for this process. It reveals that the unmaking of reality is as much a divine act as its creation. It contains the instructions for dismantling the illusions of consensus reality, for seeing through the grand cosmic play to the puppeteer's strings, and perhaps even for cutting those strings. This is the true power and the true terror of Raziel's knowledge, the ability to perceive reality so fundamentally that one can begin to reshape it, not just for personal gain, but to align with the deeper, often hidden, currents of cosmic evolution. This profound text also delves into the true nature of Lilith, not merely as a demoness or an archetype of feminine rebellion, but as a primordial force, a necessary counterpart to creation's initial ordering, a primal aspect of the divine feminine that embodies freedom, wildness, and the untamed void. Her story, often erased or demonized by patriarchal narratives, finds its true context within the grimoire's revelations. She is not simply a creature of darkness, but an essential component of balance, a reflection of the Creator's own duality, a testament to the idea that light cannot exist without shadow, order without chaos, existence without the ever-present potential for dissolution and rebirth. The grimoire reveals her as an initiatrix, a gatekeeper to deeper mysteries, challenging those who would seek to control or subjugate the raw, untamed forces of the universe. So if you are here, it is no coincidence. You are among those who are ready to hear these whispers, to feel the resonance of truths that have been forbidden for centuries. You are no longer the same as when you started watching this video. The very act of engaging with these concepts, of allowing your mind to consider the possibility of a reality far stranger and more complex than you've ever imagined, is an act of spiritual rebellion, a statement that you choose awareness over blissful ignorance. You choose the challenging path of understanding over the comforting illusion of certainty. This journey into the shadows of divine knowledge is not merely about accumulating facts. It is about transforming your perception, about expanding your consciousness to embrace the totality of existence, the light and the dark, the seen and the unseen, the spoken and the utterly unspeakable. The forgotten grimoire. The true Sefer Raziel Hamalak is not meant to be read by all. Its pages, invisible to the unprepared eye, vibrate with the very essence of the cosmos. Its truths are inscribed not in ink, but in the fabric of space-time, accessible only to those whose souls are attuned to its frequency. It is a text that does not merely inform. It initiates. It reshapes the very essence of the seeker, demanding an unwavering courage to confront the divine paradoxes, the inherent contradictions at the heart of creation. To truly comprehend Raziel's knowledge is to embrace both the profound beauty and the terrifying indifference of the universe, to see the Creator not as a benevolent shepherd, but as an eternal, unknowable force beyond human moral categories, a weaver of stars and a carver of voids, whose darkest secrets are merely facets of an incomprehensible divine perfection. This is the very essence of the forbiddance. It is not about evil, but about raw, unfiltered truth. It is about the power that lies beyond the conventional narratives, the understanding that allows a true magician to not just manipulate reality, but to commune with its very source. The implications are staggering, for if these secrets are accessible, then the boundaries of what is possible, of what is permissible, shatter. The individual, armed with such gnosis, becomes a co-creator, a participant in the ongoing cosmic drama, no longer a mere spectator. This is what the system doesn't want you to know: your own inherent divine potential, a potential unlocked by understanding the totality of the divine, even its shadow aspects. If you have journeyed with us through these revelations, if you feel the echoes of ancient truths resonating deep within your soul, then you are truly part of a select few. You are one of those who see beyond the veil, who understand that the greatest mysteries are not found in distant stars, but in the hidden folds of our own reality, in the very fabric of existence that has been meticulously obscured. We are living in an era where these forgotten grimoires, these apocryphal texts, are slowly re-emerging, challenging our perceptions and inviting us to a grander, more terrifying awakening. The call of Raziel, the whisper of forbidden knowledge, is not just a historical curiosity. It is a present and powerful invitation to transform your understanding of everything. It is a chance to truly awaken, to shed the illusions, and to step into a reality far more expansive and exhilarating than you ever imagined. This path, however, requires immense courage, for once you see, you cannot unsee. Once you know, you cannot unknow. The power of Raziel's grimoire is not just in what it reveals, but in what it demands of the seeker. It demands a breaking down of old beliefs, a willingness to stand naked before the cosmic truth, stripped of all dogma and preconceived notions. It insists on a direct, unmediated experience of the divine in all its terrifying and glorious totality. It teaches that true freedom comes not from adhering to rules, but from understanding the underlying principles that govern existence, and from aligning one's will with the highest, most profound cosmic currents. This is the ultimate. I make my own law, not in defiance of a benevolent God, but in harmony with a vast, complex, and utterly awe-inspiring universe, whose secrets are finally beginning to unfold for those brave enough to look. If you have made it this far, you are no longer the same. The very act of absorbing these concepts has begun to shift something within you, a subtle but profound change in perception, a deepening of your spiritual awareness. The veil, for a moment, has thinned, and you have glimpsed something of the vastness that lies beyond. This journey is not for everyone, but for those who heed the call. It is a path of unparalleled growth and revelation. Comment I see beyond the veil if you made it this far, if you understand the gravity of these truths, and if you are ready to continue this journey of profound awakening. Hit that like button if this deep dive into Raziel's forbidden knowledge resonated with your deepest spiritual longings. If it sparked a recognition of truths you always instinctively felt, but never fully articulated. And subscribe to our channel to ensure you never miss another journey into the hidden history of magic, the secrets the Church tried to erase, and the ancient wisdom that continues to shape our world. We are just beginning to unravel the tapestry of forgotten grimoires and celestial entities. And the next video will reveal even more about the nature of forbidden knowledge specifically. We will explore the enigmatic connection between the Book of Enoch and the origins of the Nephilim, asking, what else did the Watchers bring down from the heavens? Until then, keep questioning, keep seeking, and keep seeing beyond the veil. The truth awaits.